True story. Couldn't play that riff right now if I had to. Alright, we left off yesterday with this thing about halfway done. I'm gonna use my Micron and kind of sharpen up some of the edges so we can make out what the hell it actually is. And then we're gonna toss on a few more coats, keeping it loose. I will say I think I'm definitely ready to get into some heavy character design. That'll be all straight up regular drawing with maybe some markers or something to help figure out color. Then once we get that figured out, I'll figure out how to translate it over into watercolor. And then I need to actually start writing the story. So the question is, should I write the story as I go along and allow like the art to inform the story some, or should I just go ahead and do the entire story? That way I have it out of the way and I don't have to think about it. I'm leaning towards doing both simultaneously. I'll definitely do a framework of the story. I'll plot it out. But as far as like page to page dialogue and all that, I think we'll figure that out as we go. Because I don't know how much detail I'll be able to put down on the page and have it readable in color, or in paint, I should say. So I wouldn't want to jump the gun and write all this stuff and then have to rewrite it and rearrange panels and, you know, cliffhanger pages. Because you want people to want to turn the page, you don't want to give too much away if you can save it for the next page. So we got to worry about all that shit. Tell you what, though, I like having it kind of nebulous here in the colors on this stage right now, where I'm, finding edges and whatnot. I like it. I feel like it'll keep it from being overdrawn and just like a coloring book, because I want it to definitely have a painted look. And I feel like if I do it really tight and it's too controlled, that'll kind of kill the look that I'm going for. On the bright side, I think I'm coming down with a head cold. So, so maybe we'll use the fever dreams to help come up with some cool shit. Yeah, we shall see. There's like 5 other CG streams going on right now. And I don't know what's going on those, but I know right here we're creating some shit from scratch. We'll leave this one undefined as it goes down, right? This pen is dry, which I knew before I started using it, which is a good thing. Like I said, I'm trying to do everything I can to fight my natural instincts to go really tight and clean this up really well. Because then it's just um, a colored comic versus a painted comic. That's something I don't want to do. Oh, I can't wait to scan this and show you the how it's looking. It's not coming across in the camera. Definitely got to get me a new camera. I think I'm gonna bite the bullet and get like a, was it Mach 2 or whatever, a Canon. I was debating getting the Brio, the the next step up from what I have, Logitech, but I've talked myself into getting the real deal. So you'll be able to see my tomato head in all its glory. In all its heavenly glory. What's that from? Enter the Dragon, nerds. Come on. You think Bruce Lee'd be in UFC if he was around now? Now, I'm a long-time UFC guy, so I know how preposterous that idea is. But I also like to troll people. So we're going to pretend like that he would definitely be in the UFC and he would be top 2 or 3 all time. What do you think about that? Hey, what's up, Sumo? I'm calling anybody that feels like they might be a nerd, calling them a nerd. Affectionately, of course. We're all mama's boys here. Well, thanks for stopping by. You're my only viewer tonight. All those other streams are they're stealing from the kid, robbing me blind. Man, I have a really cool character of designed for the next book I'm doing for John in this Graveyard Shift crossover. Imagine a Kirby bad guy like Dark Side or Thanos meets uh, Mojo, and the metal guy. Root Hogger Die is the first family on Mars. Right, so the dad's a scientist. He gets kind of drafted into going to Mars. They're trying to terraform Mars, and they've created these creatures that can do the heavy lifting on Mars, but they're wanting to go to the next step, the next level. So they're wanting these lizard creatures, and I'm doing lizard because of all the the conspiracy side of it. I'm really into that stuff. Um, no, I don't think people are really lizards, but metaphorically speaking, like an energy vampire is a vampire, so to speak, right? So anyway, but in this story, there are real lizards terraforming Mars because of the climate there. So they've got them zeroed in to where they can breathe in the atmosphere and the dad is uh, a geneticist, and he's going to go there and help take these creatures to the next level. He's going to make them smart, and typical sci-fi, it all goes to shit, and this kid is thrust into a root hog or die situation, which is an old uh, farmer saying whenever they'd have too many hogs on the farm, like those hogs will out, they'll overbreed, and the farmers would just turn them loose out into the wild. And that was the saying, root hog or die. So go figure it out. And you know that most people know, so it's not like I'm a science teacher here, but you turn a hog loose out in the woods, they're going to go feral real quick. Like not even have kids that end up feral. Like they're instantly they grow tusk and fur and all that shit. Um, well, this kid has got to figure all this out because the worst of the worst happens. And symbolically, I would describe it as like a love letter to my parents. But I'm gonna try to be give it a moral lesson. I would like, Comicsgate is great and all, but how many books are like really, really kid friendly, right? It's more of a Wild West over in Comicsgate. And I don't want it to be heavy handed though, right? Like I know some of uh it sounds like recipe for disaster. I know Mark Miller and all of those guys got a little heavy handed with their Christian themery. Um, that's going to be in there, but I'm going to put it in there symbolism wise, right? So the ship that is going to Mars is going to be called the Trivium. So you have the Trinity, you have the Trivium, which is grammar, logic, rhetoric, and that's what you need to figure the other stuff out. And the ship that comes back from Mars is going to be called the Quadrivium, which is the second half of the of classical knowledge and teaching, right? So that's what for 2,000 years the Catholic Church that when if you could afford to go to school, that's what you learned. You learned the trivium and the quadrivium, which is number, number in time, which is sound, number in space, which is geometry, and then number in space time. And that's what all the sciences are based on. Like even to this day, you can make it the case that it's all trivium and quadrivium. So that's going to be in there. So I'm presenting symbolically, even though I mean that's not really symbolism if I'm actually outright naming the ships that, right? But the average Joe is not going to know what the fuck trivium, quadrivium is. They're just not. But I'll be teaching within the story the trivium, quadrivium, and how the kid is going to use this to figure out his situation as last living man on Mars, and he's got to figure out how to get back home, right? And there's going to be a lot of stuff on Earth of people figuring out what's going on, like what the government's really doing on Mars, because it's not going to be too far into the future, and I have a feeling people are not going to be real big fans of genetic experiments to this degree, which I think are probably already going on. So we'll have a little bit of a modern critique of what science is and all the stuff that could go wrong. and it will be all presented in a package that adults and kids will be able to get something out of. A short pitch would be it's a survival guide for Mars. And I got to figure out how to tell this story without turning people off, getting them offended, without it being heavy handed. And of course, it number one has to be entertaining. Second, I want to teach myself to paint as I go while I'm doing it. And I've said this on a few of the streams before, but I want to live the system, the root hog or die. So I'm trying to figure out how to paint this book on the fly. So, all right, in theory, in my head, I want it to become almost like a movement, right? Like Harry Potter became like a cultural movement, but what did you get out of it? You know what I mean? You get kids dressing up like Harry Potter and talking all those goofy British words, wiggly warts and all that shit, you know. I want I want kids and adults, that read this to be like, all right, well, if this kid can get out of that situation, this is how he did it, critical thinking, he thought his way through it, then I can too. All right? And then I want this book to be taken to Mars whenever we whenever Elon Musk decides to fly him there, if he doesn't get destroyed in the media, which is in the middle of happening right now. Big goals, right? But I mean, that's how you get shit done. My system is I'm going to be streaming every day, right? So the fifth, I wanted to start on the fourth, but like a dumbass, I was too hungover. So we started on the fifth. So I'm going to go from July 5th this year to July 5th next year, streaming every day. Be it, 5 minutes, as long as I keep the system going, that's a win. And when I was streaming last year, there are all these little things that start to happen, right? These things they gain momentum on their own. For instance, I lost 30 pounds last year, and I'd like to keep that going for sure. I put like 10 back on because the first half of the year, um, I've been eating like a pig and drinking on weekends. But no more eating like a pig and no more drinking on weekends. We're getting serious right now, and that's really the only way to do it. So that's my system, right? And that's another part of this. All the mindset books I read, I want to apply that stuff. Like, what the fuck good is it if I'm reading all this stuff and not doing it? And one of the big ones that I got into was Scott Adams, How to Fail at Everything and Still Win Bigly. Really good book, but it's a little long-winded. But there is a guy, I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but it's a book called Atomic Habits. Porn bots. Jesus. All right, I don't know how to ban these things. Let's see. Hide user on this channel. Okay. Well, we'll see if that works. Yeah. Anyway, so systems over goals. Like, what's the difference between somebody that's rich and somebody that wants to be rich? Right? Well, they both want to be rich. So how does one guy end up rich and the other guy not? It's the system. The guy gets up and works every day, or whatever the case may be. So when people stumble upon this channel, if they start from the beginning, they're going to see my entire process. I'll be reiterating that a lot. So it's gonna be quite a bit different than other CG channels. It's gonna be heavy on the details and the process. Um, not as definitely not as entertaining, right? Now I could go and do that, and I'll be adding some entertainment. Uh, that's just a lot of preliminary legwork, really, to make that work. I got to, sit down with a legal pad or type it up on a document and give myself a list of topics to talk about, get all that shit in my head, come up with some funny stuff to say, and then try to deliver it like I think it up on the spot, right? So, secret's out of the bag. That's how I'm going to do it. So, hopefully, it'll get more entertaining, but my primary focus is on actually doing the book, getting the book going, and showing others how I do it. Need more red. Want more water because I want more bloom. Now, the thing about watercolor is once you paint over an area that's light, that's all she wrote. She's gone permanently. So when I was seeing this in my head, I was seeing it almost like a fog choking in on him. So we're going to lose a lot of the detail there, but that's okay. I'm more about the atmosphere. And I promise you, when it's all said and done, this book's going to look fucking incredible. And that's just all um, page integrity, you know. I'm going to demand it of myself, so it'll happen. Kind of a little purple for the shadow down here. Let's get some more rocks in. Might be too wet right now. And I think I want to dab up. You want to dab right now. Pull some of that out. It's getting a little too thick. Man, the porn bots come in. Now nobody's chatting. She getting sick? Kind of like that before I did that shadow. Ended up a little muddy here, but first time really drawing the character, first time painting the character. We get what we get. Good news is this watercolor dries really well. It doesn't dry very muddy. It ends up being like these pretty translucent colors. It's going to be more like an illustrated book or still no, it's still comic book format. Oh no, the chat shows back up. I didn't know if I'd like fuck something up in the chat when I deleted the porn bot. The dog's sick. Should I should I eat something that's not sitting right? All right, I think I want to hit this with the blow dryer. Yeah, so it's going to be standard comic. It'll be a little bit different. Hang on, I'll show you. I don't. If I do it 8 or 11 by 17, it'll be a lot more difficult to do and more expensive. So I'm trying to think if I have any pages around here that I can show. Like some brown pages. Here, I'll just show half of this thing I did. I did a Viking wolf thing. All right, so here is, can't really see it because it's so small. Give me a second. All right, so standard comic book page. And here it is over the watercolor sheet. So I gain an inch of width and lose an inch of height. So I'll be painting on these blocks here. Got me a Galactus Silver Surfer started. Should be pretty cool. And don't tell anyone I showed you. Here's like mega detailed thing I did for Mark Bolton of the Viking wolf. Can the kid throw down some lead or what? Here I am fucking around trying to learn how to watercolor. What do we say, gang? We say root hog or die. That's right. And also, thank you. Sneak peek, good. Oh, yeah, nice. No, Jimmy Reyes is inking the Viking Wolf, and actually, he just got it done. He sent it to me earlier via text. He's gonna email me a higher res. So looks pretty damn good. Jimmy's a very fine inker, and I hope to be working with him for a long, long time. Working with him till the end of this year on the Graveyard Shift book I'm doing for John. And I don't see why not. I imagine John's going to have me doing some more stuff next year. Um, when I talk to him, which I'm pretty autopilot. I'm not up in John's hair, which I think he very much appreciates. He gives me the script. I send in some very, very elaborate layouts. I guarantee you nobody else is doing layouts like I am. And he sends back whatever changes he wants, but I put enough time in that it's very, very few changes, and they're so detailed that I just blue line them. I put the perspective grid down and Clip Studio so the perspective is spot on, and print them out and go to town on. I'm doing 3 pages a week. So anyway, I expect he'll have some more stuff for me next year. So I'll be working on this concurrently. The John stuff will take priority. This is going to be definitely a side hustle, especially considering my name's not really out there yet. So hopefully doing a stream every day, and I might end up doing 2 types of streams. My buddy Nick and we had we did a test run for a PTI type show, Part of the Interruption on ESPN, and I had it set up, list of topics, and the bell would ding, and we'd have like 5 minutes on each topic, and then we'd go to the next topic. It's pretty entertaining, especially he and I together because we've got a long history and we can argue and curse each other out without either one of us taking it too personal. And I don't know if you saw Phil's stream the other day, but Nick showed up and started shit talking me, and I cursed him out. I felt kind of bad though, possibly and or ruining sketching and shilling with Tommy and Phil or whatever it's called. So, but there's definitely a level of entertainment there that I would like to do. I think it would be good for me in my career. Um, but Nick is not exactly Comicsgate. Matter of fact, he's not Comicsgate, but he's still buddies with me, and he's buddies with some other people in Comicsgate. But I think all that the I think the two factions brawling. I think that's coming to an end. Our way won. Um, it's the way forward. Who gives a shit what you said or did in the past? So, and this Eric July thing was I think this Eric July thing came at a perfect time. Because people were kind of fussing a little bit at Zach, and it, I don't know. I mean, he's one of the guys that started it. He's one of the like all movements start. There's like a certain spirit to it, and for whatever reason, Zach doesn't want to carry that weight, but it's definitely consistent with who he is as a person, right? He's a military dude. He's a nomad, vagabond. You know, call me what you will. I have yet to even start building my art channel. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not against teaming up with some other people. You know, if either of you were interested in doing something, like I said, Nick is his campaign did really well. He did Axe Wilder John, and it's a $200,000 campaign over on Zoop, which is a whole different platform, right? You got these different pillars popping up, different factions, and he's kind of skittish on wanting to do it, even though we've already done it. So, uh, but I do like the format. It keeps the pace moving. It gives the people something to look at over here, and you'd be like, okay, I know this topic, this topic, this topic's coming up. You can either tune in or tune out real quick, or if you're watching after the show's aired, you can, skip ahead to the topic you want to hear us talk about. Us being, whoever. I wouldn't be opposed to having more than a more than one person on. So I don't know. I'll get that figured out over the next year. Most important thing is, like everybody says, grow the channel. So I'm going to be streaming a lot more and learning and preaching these systems over goals things. And I think the fruit of my labor will be apparent, and people will end up going back to what I've been doing already, and they're going to watch the first few videos, and they're going to be like, oh, okay, so this is what it's all about. Yeah, I'm laying out a blueprint, right? So everybody says you got to do X, Y, and Z to be successful. So that's what I plan on doing. And we're going to find out if that works. And it's going to work, right? Because I'm a smart guy. I'm a funny guy. I can figure this out. Holy moly. So YouTube has a porn bot problem, huh? As long as I don't cross the streams. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was Nick Patera. Sorry. To blow the chat up bigger. Pop out chat. Let's see what that does for me. Control plus plus. Yeah. No, that was. Hey, give me 2 seconds here to use the blow dryer. Anyway, yeah, that's the real Nick. He's one of my legacy buddies. Met him in 2011, I think, and we've been buddies ever since. Uh, Man, I would tell the whole story of my comic book career, but then it would sound like I was sad second. I don't want to do that. Plus, it would be like name dropping a little bit. But I used to be networked in pretty good with some fairly big names. And once Trump happened, and those fucking nerds found out I voted for Trump, everybody dropped me like a bad habit. And here's the deal: even I was definitely very pussyish on the whole thing. My career dried up like that, and I didn't work from 2016. I didn't even draw, right? Like I didn't even draw for 2 years. Didn't even pick up a fucking pencil for 2 years from 2016 to late 2018. Then I started drawing again, and I tell you what, that 2 years off, I didn't miss it. But once I started back drawing, I realized how much I missed it. But I maintained being friends with Nick that whole time. I went, got a job in the real world at a sign shop, and then I worked at a print shop doing invoices and shit. Not a bad job. It was nice. Desk work. Yeah. See that they've infected everything with politics. Here's what sucks, right? I grew up. My parents watched Fox News around the clock. I get to college, and this is early 2000s, mind you. And sure enough, I took a lot of philosophy classes because I was just really into that shit. Um, Art major, philosophy major, right? I was destined to be broke as fuck. Um, they were so heavy. Like I was like buying into communism. Like they make it sound so appealing, but they don't give you the critiques of it, right? Well, I had a buddy that was super religious, and he had been making his way through all the denominations in the church, like Baptist and Methodist. I know, right? I should be drawing right now. Anyway, and me and him ended up debating communism and all this stuff, and he won. He won the debate. He was anti-communist. By the way, that best friend in high school. Now I am gonna name drop. I'm not going to name drop the comic dudes I used to hang out with, but I will name drop this guy. Um, my buddy Jay Dyer. He co-hosts the fourth hour of Alex Jones 2 or 3 times a week, I believe. I don't believe, I know. So it's pretty cool, right? So hopefully, when I get the book done, uh, Jay'll have me on the fourth hour, and/or he'll just hook me up with a straight up uh, interview with Alex Jones, and I can go on and talk about all this stuff. So you got to use your connections. I couldn't think of a better connection. I bet that would help sell some books, right? A little spatter on this. I think I'm gonna add some yellow spatter now, or should I do orange? I'll do orange. So anyway, yeah, 2 years, no drawing, moping around, sad sacking. Then my buddy Eric Watkins, he got me drawing again. I drew this Al Snow book that ended up being on Kickstarter a couple years ago. It did pretty well for him. It actually helped him get more wrestling books, so that's cool. Um, and I have a pirate book. It's called Desecrated Cells, and I am 75 pages into that. Yeah, the wrestler Al Snow. Dude, the book is really fun. I'm pretty sure you can get it on demand still. The Ballad of Al Snow is the name of it. Um, anyway, what was I saying? Somebody remind me what I was saying. I'm trying to clean my brush here so I can do some orange spatter. Look at that. It's making a damn cloud. Yeah, Al Snow and his mannequin head. The whole story is him talking to the mannequin head as he goes through like this post-apocalyptic Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, yeah, my pirate book. That's it. Yeah, Desecrated Cells. So I'm like 75 pages into this damn thing, and Eric is kind of mad at me right now. He stopped talking to me about a month ago, but I'm going to finish the book. If you come across this video, Eric, I swear I'm going to finish the book. Um, I sent some stuff into John. I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and go Comicsgate because it's what I am, right? Like my best friend is co-host of Alex Jones show. Voted for Trump, but here I am online. I'm trying to walk the line online, right? I'm trying to be like, well, this side is saying this and this side is saying that, and they kind of need each other. I was trying to look. Once the riots happened, I'm like, these motherfuckers have lost their mind. They're coming to cut your fucking throat. So, well, you got to wage into the war. And, you know, the culture war is a very, very, very real war, right? And we got to take more. All right, you know what? Fuck this toothbrush. I'll just do. I'll just do a regular paintbrush and flick it. Anyway, yeah. I mean, so we gotta go out and crack some heads, figuratively, but if need be, literally, right? Because these son of a bitches are wild and feral out there, killing people, burning down businesses. So hopefully, books like I mean, the spirit of what I'm trying to do is honor the parents, give people a system to be successful. Like if some fucking foster kid ends up with a copy of the book somehow, hopefully there's enough info in there that they won't have a meltdown and turn into a meth head. Shit like that. That's my hope. And it's going to be hard to do and make it still be entertaining. Because, man, you just don't want something heavy handed. You don't want to be preachy. And So that's part of the that's the that's the main worry, right? I think the art, I can draw, I can paint. I'll figure out the painting part. I'll get good at that. That doesn't even cross my mind whether or not I'll be successful at that. That's just all about time at the table learning how to do it. Striking the right tone is what really concerns me. So, and obviously I'll be sending out stuff as I go along, Well, I'll gladly send it to a lot of you, to read it, let me know, give me feedback on it. Yeah, I ought to show some of the pirate book. Tell you what, when I stream tomorrow, I'll show some of the pirate book. Maybe I'll even draw on it some. I've gotten so much better working under John because he's pretty brutal with the critiques, and I know that pisses a lot of people off and turns a lot of people off, but I'm built for it. I like it. I've, I want to be better, and he's telling me, an artist, you can't see your own work. Yeah, from the heart. Exactly right. An artist, it's really, really, really fucking hard to see your own work. And John is not timid when it comes to telling me what the hell I'm doing wrong. And I appreciate that. I like it. I don't like it that email, that hour, that day, but I don't, you got to frame it, right? A lot of this is you learn how to frame stuff. I could frame it as, oh, John hates my art, or I can frame it as, oh, if I fix these things, I'm going to be good, or the art's going to look even better. What's up, Teflon Ron? All right, I think I want to get my Pentel Pocket and hit this with some black. I'm going to look up. I'm curious if Pentel Pocket makes cartridges that are different colors. Like, I wouldn't mind having a sepia color Pentel Pocket. Yeah, exactly. It's all problem solving. That's what's fun about it, right? And so, and with John, and this is a good thing, right? So it's not just telling a story. You gotta tell it in a certain way that is dynamic, right? He wants an anchor panel on every page. This is the kid from my book that I'm really just now beginning to work on. It's going to be called Rue Hog or Die. It's about the first family that goes to Mars. Well, they're going to be running some genetic experiments and they kind of go wrong. And all hell breaks loose, and this kid is left solo on Mars and he's got to find his way back. So, this is really just a concept sketch and me trying to learn how to paint. Yeah, it's dry enough. So, let's add some weight. You guys know who Karen Grant is? Well, if you don't know who Karen Grant is, look up his stuff. His his watercolor stuff is that's my shit. That's what I'm gonna be going for. Something like that. Obviously, Bill Sienkiewicz is gonna be an inspiration. Yeah, I want it loose, right? Like I said, I don't want it to be a coloring book. I don't want it to look like a comic that was computer colored. I want it to be a painted, illustrated book. By the way, if you guys get bored and want to look at some cool art, there's this guy online that's got a channel that he goes over all the older illustrators. Is the sound low? Is it low? You bump it up. Testing. I'm not. I'm not redlining. I would have to put a boost on it to get it any louder. And then I'm scared it would peg out. Anyway, does it sound alright to everyone else? This Teflon Ron's been working in some mechanic shops, hearing some loud compressor noises. I had some problems with the sound the other night, so it may be me. I'll mess with it after I'm done screwing around here. I had a noise gate on it the other night, and I was talking low because everybody else was asleep, and I didn't want to wake them up. And I ended up the noise gate was clipping because I was talking gentle. I was talking like NPR. Yeah, so I got to go find sepia cartridges, or I could just fill these. I saw a hack online the other day. It's like a month ago. Because microns, for whatever reason, yeah, those torso twists in that perfect pose. Perfect. That's where the power comes from. Yeah. Thanks, man. Um, Twisting is a big time. It separates a lot of artists, I think. There's a guy, man, should I name his name? There's a guy that is really, really, really fucking good. In every pose he draws, the character is straight on and there is no twist in the torso. But everything else is awesome. And it drives me crazy when I look at it. I feel like one critique, this dude could go from a good artist, but mediocre to next level. Like better than me, because I'm not next level. But I'm going to be getting next level. That's my goal. All right. Now the question is how much. I think I want to definitely highlight the rope that's coming toward us. I lost my train of thought earlier. I was going on a rant about something. Karen Grant, what I want the book to look like. No, no. Anyway, all right. I think we're about done. Check out my Twitter tomorrow, and I'll post this. Yeah, stuck in a rut. That's what was good about the 2 years away from drawing, even though I don't recommend it, and then coming back and then having John be my editor slash mentor slash um, employer. A little blurry, but anyway. Got a little muddy on the outside. That's just because I didn't really figure out what I was drawing. Yeah, yeah. Pirate book preview tomorrow. What I should do on that is because I'm such a better artist now than I was in 2018 when I was working on it is go over it. It's Tommy the Comic Guy. TOMMYDA Comic Guy. I'll type it in. Did it not go? What? Say what? Yeah, so maybe I'll start with page one and give all the pirate pages a once over.